You guys got Jonathan Tease here coming from hot Atlanta. What's going on, Jonathan? How you doing today, man?
I'm good, Daryl. How are you?
Good, man. Hey, I met Jonathan out at a event that was Frank Kern, and Jonathan's really big into the social media marketing space. And he mentioned something that's kind of unique, where he's working with artists. So what he does with artists is he helps them basically drum up business for themselves because they're too busy out there being an artist. And Jonathan's kind of an artist a little bit on the social media side of things. He's also been doing it for a while for an insurance association, but it's something he's been passionate about since college. I know he looks like he's 15, but he actually has already graduated. But guys, just want to know, I just want to bring Jonathan out to you. Jonathan, how'd you get started as an entrepreneur, brother?
Man, thank you so much. It's a good story. I graduated college and I didn't quite know exactly what I wanted to do. I knew that, typically until you go to college, get a good job, and, everything would be gravy from there. But the thing was, I knew that I didn't want some of those typical, career paths that was offered to me after school. But I continued to work anyway. I graduated and entered Macy's executive development program, where I managed a $5 million business, and I had about 23 associates that I was directly responsible for at one point in time. So it was a large, responsibility, and it felt good to say that I did that. But at the end of the day, it didn't make me happy. And so one day I decided that I really wanted to pursue my passion of getting into marketing and helping my creative friends. And that's when I started my company called The Expertise. And I just took what I learned, had been learning both in business and marketing up until that point, and just teaching it to my friends. And that's kind of how I got started.
But Jonathan, who gave you permission to go out and do this as a business?
Nobody. Never had did it. In fact, I would go to work for 10, 12-hour days sometimes, and I would come home after work and still work another 4 or 5 hours on my own just because I liked it that much. But nobody ever told me to go do it.
So, here's the thing: is a lot of people out there have gifts and talents and abilities, but you actually took action on it and put that action into income for yourself. Where did you get that ability to do that? Is that like some kind of superpower you got?
No, not really. I think when I see something that excites me, I kind of make it my focus. And so I just try to do those things that make me feel good. And so teaching my friends about marketing just made me feel good. So I did that.
Yeah. So you felt good about what you're doing and you decided to teach it as a business on that side of it. What was the original time that somebody was like, hey, listen, Jonathan, I want to pay you for what it is you're sharing with me? Were you like walking around just sharing, and all of a sudden somebody's like, no, can you just like do this for me? Like, what was that original exchange of money?
Man, so actually, let me backtrack on how I kind of got to the point that I could charge money. So I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't know what marketing really, really was until after I had graduated, or else I may have studied that in school instead. But I went to a conference. It was called Experts Academy held by Brendan Bouchard, and that's actually where I first saw Frank Kern. And I saw Frank on stage giving a presentation about how he's a consultant. And again, that was one of those phrases that I never had really heard or knew what it meant. But he was kind of telling me about what he did and how people reach out to him for help with his expertise. Sorry, guys. Of course, the car would drive right past me. So I'm outside. As soon as we get started, it'd be quiet the entire time.
That's how it works for you, though. You work wherever you want to work. So that's how
man.
You guys have to suffer through a couple cars.
Laptop lifestyle, man. Laptop lifestyle. But yeah, so I saw what consulting was, and then I knew that I could charge for it and actually charge a pretty nice amount for my time and my talent. And so that kind of did it. And I went out after that conference, and I initially just started asking people if I could have, conversations like this and figure out what their needs were. And at the end of that conversation, I'd be like, all right, so if you need help with that, I can help you. Let's do it. And that's how I got my first client.
What was the first memory that you have around money, around being an entrepreneur? A lot of people, I noticed actually I did a Harvard study, believe it or not, and Harvard study equated, money was really close to like drugs in the sense of like their mind does similar effects of how money people get hooked on money in a certain way. I find that a lot of times when I do interviews with some expertise with their entrepreneurs is they're doing what they originally really wired in their brain from the beginning. And they just never realized it before. So what was the first thing you did as a child, around money?
Wow. First thing I can remember around money as a child. Like the first thing I did for money.
Yeah, like first thing I was like you went out and earned money for, or you earned a paycheck, or was it a bicycle you were saving up for? Was it a toy like me? I mean, everybody's got a story.
Yeah, there were definitely things that I wanted. Probably candy. If I had to think really, really hard, it's probably surrounded around candy and food, honestly. But I remember that my parents, my grandparents sometimes would give me money and would kind of let me know like that was it for the week. So it was really about kind of like rationing out what I had my money for. And, I would do chores and, work for money. And eventually I got a job when I was in high school and started doing, things like for a job at high school. But yeah, my main motivation was to just be able to kind of do whatever it was that I wanted to do at that time, whether it was, go out to eat or go to the movies, or like I said, my earliest memories probably are around candy and just hanging out with my friends. Arcade games, definitely arcade games.
So when you were a little kid and stuff like that, that was like your sole purpose was to make money doing that stuff. So what did you do to make the money to be able to afford to, do this stuff? Like,
yeah. So I started out with stealing like candy, like bags of like the 25-cent chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like my first initial business. And then I actually recreated that business in college my freshman year when the cafeteria would close at 8 o'clock. So at 8:01, my sandwich shop opened up in my dorm room. And so me and my roommate had a panini grill, and we would have, all of the people that wanted a late night snack, but didn't necessarily want to go to any of the other dining options. So that was cool until we got shut down by our RAs. So I quickly learned about stuff like permits and, fire codes and as a freshman.
Were you using a George Foreman grill like I was?
It was actually. It was a little George Foreman grill with the panini press. Like
I had that, dude.
Yeah, man. It would cut the sandwiches in half, like make them like triangles. It was pretty sweet.
I had that, and in college, I would take that. I had it. My mom gave me that for Christmas, and then brought it back, put it in my dorm room. And I used to like to eat a lot. I mean, I was a pretty big guy, and I had a lot of friends that were big guys, played football in college. So, at nighttime, we'd all be hungry about 10 o'clock, because we ate at like 6 or 7. I mean, 3-4 hours goes by, and you want to eat again,
Right.
And the guys would come back, and I would literally, I had a refrigerator, and I would take food that was from lunch where there's tacos or chicken tenders or burgers or whatever it was, and I would just come back and throw it on the grill and grill it up and wash that thing in the sink, and I called it a night. It'd be like Doritos at the hill room,
Yeah, man, that's it. So
I didn't sell them like you did. I wasn't as entrepreneur as you were. So.
Thank you, man. That was actually my roommate's idea, so it's probably his press too. So
it's right.
Yeah, man. But no, it was really cool though. Like we had a little operation going. Like I said, it was fun until we got shut down.
Yeah. So your first business went down. So there you go, man. Live and learn.
Went down fast.
Went down fast. So tell us a little bit about some of the stuff you're doing right now and how you're helping businesses. And I know you're specializing in the artist. I mean, the hip hop community in Atlanta, helping these guys, bring more people to their events. How you've mastered the art of using Instagram and some of that kind of stuff, because that's such a hot topic right now.
Yeah, man. All right. So just in general, here's my general premise. It's the concept of 1,000 true fans, and this is if I could get anybody who's looking to build an online business, especially a music artist, to get this concept. I think it takes this whole idea about everything they think they have to do and narrow it down. But 1,000 true fans, if you can get 1,000 people that will invest over the span of a year $100 into your brand, your products, and your merchandise. So for my music artists, I'm like, hey guys, that's you know, a couple of concerts, maybe like $25 ticket, $35 ticket concert. You know, if they have a product like a t-shirt or a hoodie or some type of merchandise, and then maybe like you know, their CD. You know, if those items total up to $100 and 1,000 people invest into your brand, you've made $100,000. It's a six-figure salary based off of just 1,000 core fans. So you don't need millions of followers. You don't need millions of that. You just need 1,000 of the right people that are going to support you. So that's my general theme. And like you mentioned earlier, artists really focus on the art and the creativity. So the one thing that I help them do is I help them create a system where they can work on being an artist and just release their music. And because they have things like opt-in forms and landing pages that gather the information for people as they are connecting with them in person or through online, or people, you know, they just draw people back to these pages, they can capture their fans. And like you said, they focus on the artwork. They have these systems running in the background that helps them, you know, monetize their music the next time they're ready to release a project or promote an event. And, you know, it's been working well for me, and it's been working well for some of my clients that I've helped install it for. That's
cool, man. So if let's say I'm a business owner, or I've got a product or service that I want to market out, you talk about the 1,000 person tribe, you know?
Yeah.
That's a little bit different. Like, you know, people think they have to have like tens of millions of people out there on their list to make all this money. It's like, no, if you just have 1,000 loyal customers buying something from you like every month, that adds up pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then it's scalable. Once you reach 1,000 customers, you know, 1,000 sales, you can double your efforts. You can increase your marketing investment. You can apply your method into a different market. So there's different things you can do and scale up from there. So the sky's the limit once you know the process and you kind of have the tools in place to do it.
So what's the process?
All right. 4-step process, man. The first is attraction, interaction, conversion, and satisfaction, right? So attraction is where social media comes into play. That's where your advertising comes into play. That's where all your cool content comes into play. And most people, especially artists, just stop there. And that's what got me so frustrated when I first got into the industry. Is I was actually producing music videos and music, and I worked with some really talented people, and it would irk me to no end because their music was so good. It was so good, but nobody would, nobody would listen. Nobody would buy if they even had a product to sell. Some of them didn't even have a product to sell. And so that's kind of what opened my eyes up, that there's more to it than just this attraction, social media, push out your content. The next thing is you want interaction. You want people to talk back to you. You want people to come to your website. You want people to fill out your forms or connect or whatever your call to action is in that first process. So I coach them to build their subscriber base, their fan base, so that way they can go out for the third step, which is conversion. And that's actually having something to sell. So you have something to sell, you make an offer, you tell people, hey, come support my concert, come buy my t-shirt, and they convert. And then the final step is satisfy, and that's where you deliver your content. That's where you have an awesome concert. You give those customer service aspects that people respond to, and then it's a circle. You continue it all over again. So it's an ongoing process.
Well, it makes sense, man. So you're going to do this, and as you're working for the artists that are out there, you put this process in them. The same process you can do out for business owners that are out there. You know, I mean, that's the same things apply.
Yes.
With doing that, is there any tools that you use to help automate any of this stuff, or like what's?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are tons of tools, and they scale from a level of simplicity to a level of complexity. So, you and I know that, we follow people like Frank Kern, and they use tools like Infusionsoft and Swipe and Drip and Lead Pages. I keep it basic, because again, not everybody is that technically savvy. So I literally, I coach to have a website, because that's where you should house your entire catalog. People should have to go through your website because you own your website. You don't own social media. You don't own the Facebook algorithm, because everybody knows Facebook was a thing until they changed their algorithm the first time, and everybody freaked out. So if you didn't own your page, if you didn't have your stuff hosted on your website, your entire business model may have crumbled instantly. So first things first is a website. The next thing is I use MailChimp to coach them to build landing pages, simple pages where people can just collect information, names, email addresses. Sometimes I say phone numbers or zip codes for my artists because they may want to do some like day of promo via text, or you can on the back end see, if I have a whole bunch of people in a certain zip code or a certain state, that might be an area where they want to target or maybe like go and do a show there because they know that they have a fan base in that area. And then from a social media standpoint, I use Hootsuite to help me coordinate my social media calendar. Again, there's a lot of different tools, but Hootsuite is just the one that I use. I'm Hootsuite certified, so that just helps me out personally because I just know how to use it. Other tools include Buffer app, Spring Social. So there's tons of other apps you can use. I just prefer Hootsuite. But the combination of that helps me automate my attraction process with Hootsuite. And then typically my call to actions go to a website or to a landing page. And then once you're into the mail funnel, you can use some of the automation tools from MailChimp on the back end to make sure your sales processes are going through as well.
Wow,
that's it.
That's it. That's the simple version, guys.
It's simple. As simple as you can. I prefer to keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah, that's the simple process. What's the best way, Jonathan, for people to get a hold of you? Because if they don't want to try to figure that simple process out, I know that you help people doing that, which I would be like one of those guys where it's like, all right, sounds great. Let's put it in action.
Absolutely, man. All right. Well, my social media is The Expertise. That's TheExpertease. The Expertise. You guys can follow me on all the social media channels. My website, www.theexpertise.com. And if you guys are interested, you can go to theexpertise.com/coaching, and we can have a free conversation just so I can learn more about what you have going on. If there's anything that you need help with, I'd be more than happy to just set up a call and just kind of chat about you and your business.
Yeah. And Jonathan, what's their one gold nugget where you wish you would have known, and possibly the lowest point is your journey of doing this whole thing, that you would have about to tell yourself at that point to help you spring forward in success?
Man, okay. It's just be comfortable failing, right? Like perfect. It's action beats inaction any day. I was trying to get this phrase out, right? Perfect inaction is worse than taking action. Okay, it was some like lofty phrase, man. But basically, just going
really
out
cool up here, but we're
man. I've said it 5 times to people the other day, and it's really clicked. So of course, man, we're on camera, so I can't get it out, man. But the thing is, man, we get so like caught up.
It doesn't matter.
We get so caught up with the fact that we want it to be perfect. We want it to go a certain way, and there's never a perfect time. You just got to go out there, and if you mess up, it's okay, because chances are people don't even know you messed up. And even if you do, you can always recover and just get better from it. But you'll never learn if you don't take action. So that's my nugget.
Take action.
Yeah, man. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every day. Gosh, I couldn't get that out.
Mic drop. We'll let Jonathan go on that note. Jonathan, man. Guys, get a hold of Jonathan. We'll have his links posted up on the website too. And Jonathan, I appreciate you being out there today, man.
Man, no, Daryl, thank you for the opportunity, man. This has been great.
You're welcome, man. I'll see you.
Yep, take care.